Welcome to Posterity Africa. My name is Uzoma C. Prosper. I trust our series on Posterity Africa is inspiring for great possibility. Today we'll be talking about emergence. We'll try to connect the principles of tomorrow, possibility, and other things we've been discussing with emergence. Emergence is trying to answer the question, how do I become possible in the field of life? There are three perspectives we shall discuss emergence from: the literal perspective, the philosophical perspective, and my personal assertions. Literally, emergence means to rise or come out of concealment. If emergence literally means to rise out of concealment, I concur that emergence is a revealer while demergence is a concealer. Like a letter in an envelope, until the letter comes out of the envelope, it has not emerged. So emergence is to rise out of concealment. Philosophically, emergence is the center of metaphysics. There are three critical issues in metaphysics: being, becoming, and nothingness. While being talks about existence and knowledge, emergence is becoming. That is the process of to actuality from potentiality. And then nothingness means the seizure of life. This implies that everybody has the right of beingness, of existence. You either become or you are out of existence in nothingness. Then literally, emergence for me, it's becoming a possibility. I strongly believe that to emerge in any field of life is to become possible in that field of life. Therefore, emergence is the journey to relevance without arrival. From one state to another, like a child from the nursery, you emerge into nursery, you emerge into primary, you emerge into the secondary education, into the university, the masters. That is the journey of emergence, because I believe that life is an unending journey of insatisfaction with contentment. There are about three principles of emergence, but we'll talk about one for today, which is availability. And to be available is just like the letter analogy. The letter cannot reach the receiver if it is not available at the post office. It will not reach to the receiver at the post office if it doesn't get to the hand of the receiver. Once the letter is available in the hand of the receiver, then the letter can rise out of the concealment of the envelope, and they will say that letter has what? Emerged. So there are three basic principles of availability, but availability means to be useful. That letter is useless in the post office. It means to be obtainable, that is to receive something. That letter cannot be obtainable while lying in the post office. It means also to be needful. There is an information that is necessary for the receiver. So that letter is needful, and this is the concept of emergence. When you say someone has emerged in the field of life, that person is useful in that field, that person is obtainable, and that person is what? Is useful. Availability is the key to possibility, and therefore an intermediary between possibility and emergence. If this is emergence and this is possibility, in between emergence and possibility is availability. Therefore, emergence through availability is not just a possibility, it is eminence, a super possibility. With availability, you will not just emerge like a student. You will not just be an ordinary student. You become eminent. You can be that one student that makes a difference in that discipline. So there are three principles of availability to possibility by emergence. The first is you must subscribe to established knowledge about your person. There is something about you you ought to know. There is a knowledge about you. If you embrace, you will emerge in a field of life. In our next video, we'll analyze this very, very well. Secondly, what you need to know about yourself is because knowledge is an establishment for availability. You can't be available to a field you are ignorant of. Secondly, having had this knowledge, you are expected to anticipate possibility. Hey, I have a knowledge that I can be rich. I must believe. I must anticipate wealth. I have the knowledge that I am skillful with my hand. I must anticipate writing great books. I have the knowledge that my feat, like Lion Mercy, is great. I must anticipate that I can control the world using my feet. Therefore, anticipation that leads to possibility ignites what's preparation. Never anticipate for a thing you can't be prepared for, because preparation is knowing the trend of a thing, the current trend, and the possible trend. You want to be a photographer? Where was photography coming from? What is the current situation of photography? And where is the destination of photography? If you have this knowledge, then you can be thinking of the third principle of availability, which is what? Approval. Many young persons want to be approved in their field, but approval is not a certification. Approval is gotten in readiness. And I say here that preparation is the ordination priest that approves a person. When you are prepared, you feel inside of you, I'm ready to take over this place. I'm ready for this possibility. I'm ready to emerge. Because why? It comes spontaneous. That is why I said approval is not a certificate. It is a spontaneous certification. It is something that just comes naturally. You see like mercy with the ball, naturally, without much stress. Why? There's been an availability in preparation. There are 6 focal areas you need to be available. You have the spiritual availability, which is God. You have the physical availability, which is your appearance. You have intellectual availability, which is knowledge. Financial availability, which is building your finances. We have emotional availability, talking about stability. And then we have social availability in your relationship. There are other principles of availability, which we'll discuss subsequently. But remember, availability is no guarantee to emerge, which is possibility. Availability does not guarantee possibility unless you create anticipation, unless possibility becomes your norm, unless readiness is a tool, and then ability breaks you to multiply without waste, and then you have the consciousness of time. Remember that you can emerge if you have the anticipation in preparation. If your norm is possibility, if readiness is your tool, if ability breaks you to feed the whole of your generation without a waste, and then if you are conscious of time, it is your time to emerge. You want to emerge if you can be available. Thank you for listening to me. God bless you.